What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Thoughts of the Pugilist podcast. I am your host, Fuad, and today's pugilist is an MMA legend, a three-time world champion, The Crow, the one and only David Loiseau.
What's happening? What's happening? How you doing? Thank you for having me, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming.
I'm happy to be here. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, buddy. So, we're at the Crow Training Center.
Yes, sir.
This is a really, really nice gym. When I first walked in, I told you this is a really, really cool gym. It looks like a real fight gym.
Thank you. It's a fight gym, but also, it's for the everyday Joe. It's recreational, also competitive. Like anybody could train at my gym. You don't have to be a UFC prospect. You could be a regular person that just wants to work out and get in shape and learn martial arts. You could come here and it's very beginner friendly. Mm-hmm. It's good for the pros, but also for beginners that want to learn martial arts.
How would you recommend somebody start
martial arts?
Yeah. I mean, because you started very young. I think you were 9 years old.
I was 9. Yeah, I was 9 years old, man. It's a weird story, man. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to have anything to do with that stuff, man. I was a very scared kid. And I started being less scared when I started watching ninja movies, like martial arts movies and stuff. And I saw guys like Van Damme doing the splits and all that. So I said, man, I want to be an actor. I want to do what they do, man. The splits on the chairs and all that stuff. Yeah. I thought being able to do the splits was gonna help you in a fight. Right. Straight up. That's I'm a kid. I'm watching this stuff. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm harassing my parents, so they put me in a karate school. So I started doing the karate stuff, and then during a sparring session, they see that I'm just dominating guys that are 2-3 belts higher than me, and I'm like beating them down. So they're asking me, you should do a competition. Come to the competition. I was like, no.
That was Kyokushin Karate?
Kyokushin Karate, mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a school in Montreal North called Karate Plus. The sensei was Alain Bellil. So I went to the competition and I lost. I lost the fight. I was like, oh my God, what is this?
The first fight? Or
first fight, I lost. The little schmuck just beat me up. I was like, man, forget about the movies. Like, I completely forgot. I'm like, I want to beat him and I want to beat everybody else. I just want to compete. This loss made me such a competitor, a fierce competitor. I turned into the competitor that you've seen all these years. At 9 years old, I became obsessed with competing, winning, and it's they say there's lessons that you learn in losses that you can't learn through winning, and that's exactly it, man. I just turned into a fierce competitor and just started competing, karate. Then I went to Taekwondo. I was third at the nationals at Taekwondo. Then I went to amateur kickboxing. I got silver at the nationals. They just worked my way up.
Fight after fight.
I have at least total, like as an amateur, combined with point karate, Taekwondo, kickboxing, at least like 70, 80 fights.
Wow.
Yeah, I fought a lot. Me and my friend, my childhood friend, Yves Tiger Jabouin. Mm-hmm. Yves Jabouin fought in the UFC as well. We were looking for fights, but not in the streets.
Right.
That's the thing, man. Martial arts saved us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were just looking for tournaments. When's the next tournament? Because he was training at one school, I was training at another school. Like, you fighting next week? I'm signing up too. No, like we were just looking for competition,
On the go.
Yeah, we just wanted to fight and be the best we could be, and it's that's why it's important to get your kids into sports early, saying to keep him out of trouble, keep him out of stupid things that they could do. Obviously nobody's perfect, but man, martial arts helped me out a lot. It made me the man I am.
What does 15 years of fighting as a professional teach you? Like, when you look back at all of that?
Man, professional fighting will teach you a lot about yourself, about life, about people. See this handshake right here?
Yes. Very gentle.
Well, very gentle. But let me tell you something. The handshakes after a loss, they change. A lot of people, I give the same love to everybody, but a lot of people, when you shake their hands, some people after losses, they barely want to shake, they barely want to see you, man. It's crazy, man. Some people,
after you lose, they want to talk.
Absolutely, man. They'll 180. I've seen it. I've lived it. I witnessed it. Some people will not talk to you the same way. They will not hug you the same way. That's one of the things that hurt me back then. Back then, I was hurt when I would lose a big fight and people would just stop answering my calls or just stop calling me and stuff like that. But man, today, what a blessing it is to know who my real friends are.
Taking out the fakes.
It's fantastic, man. It's a fantastic thing, you know, and just to know that, you know, a lot of people I'm not mad at you for shaking my hand or not shaking my hand anymore or not calling me or answering my calls anymore. You love David the fighter that wins. You don't love David the person. So I respect that. You show me who you are. It's all good. All good, man.
You're opportunistic.
Yeah, but I can't be mad at you for being who you are. Back then, when I was younger, you know what I'm saying, myself, 25-year-old, full of testosterone, I'm like, oh, F these people. Now it's like, man, it's all good. God bless you, man. I wish the best for you, man. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. You know, I'm a guy you could lose 10 times in a row. I like you as a person, who you are. Like it has nothing to do with. I make the difference between the fighter and the human being. Some people, they see one thing, the fighter and the human as one. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is what it is, man.
Isn't it better to see it as one because, like, you are who you are, right?
Yes. Like, I agree.
If you're, if you're a school bus driver, then you're a school bus driver and a human being.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like, you are who you are, right?
Yeah. You are who you are. 100%.
Was that the harder part of being a professional? Or what would you say is the hardest?
Oh, the hardest part? Well, I mean, there's a few hard parts.
Because your generation had it way harder than the pros right now, that's for sure.
The thing about my generation is, like, we're the guinea pigs of the sport. We're the guinea pigs of MMA when it comes to diet, weight cutting, training methods, strategies. Oh, you're fighting a wrestler, you're fighting a grappler, you're fighting a this or that. You have to adapt. You have to make you have to make up different ways of training.
Right.
So also training not too hard so you can have longevity. Not a lot of people fought 15 years straight like I did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, from my generation, there's not a lot of guys that fought a long time and that are doing well right now.
Can even talk properly.
Yeah. Thank God I stopped at the right time. Yeah. Like you just said, alhamdulillah, it's thank God because, I retired early, at 35 years old. And, it's a blessing because I retired early because of my knee. I had 2 knee surgeries and my knee was I couldn't pull the trigger anymore when I got into fights, when I stepped into the cage. Like I still won 4 out of my last 5 fights, but I could not pull the trigger. I was not the same. And I had to retire. I said, you know what, man, I'm losing. My last fight, I lost to a guy that I should have done a lot better. And I lost the decision, and I'm like, you know what, man, I can't pull the trigger anymore. It's not the same. It's not the same, and I'm getting older. The youngins are coming up. It's a young man's sport. I made the decision, and the best decision in my adult life was to retire from fighting. But at the same time, it was a hard decision, because when you fight for so long, you're known as David the fighter, the fighter. Then when I retire, who am I?
You have to discover that yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You have to. Who am I when I don't fight? If I don't fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, the hell's going on here?
You had a lot of people discover fighting, but you had to discover that there's more to life than fighting.
I had to discover that I'm more than a fighter. That I have more to give to the world than just competing and entertaining people with punches, kicks, and elbows. It's it's a tough pill to swallow. You know, because I was a fighter. I was just a fighter, the entertainer, the guy on that big stage and on the screen and all that stuff.
Do you feel like you left a lot of money on the table because you kind of retired when you were becoming very, very popular?
Nothing is worth. There's no money that's worth my health. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so important. It's so underrated. A lot of people are making money right now. The guys from my generation that are still fighting. You guys, I don't like to name names, but
we know.
A lot of fighters from my generation are still fighting. Listen, man, it's a lot of them. I had talks with them, and it's not back and forth the way it is now. It's there's stuttering. There's you know what I'm saying? Like it's sometimes it's sad, man. It's sad. It's sad. I don't like that. I don't like seeing that. And health is number one. Health is number one. Without health, you have nothing. So you have to take care of yourself, man.
It's a very difficult conversation to have when you want to tell somebody that you think they've had enough.
Of course.
Have you ever told anybody, maybe a close friend that you fought with, coming up, in 2003 when you joined the UFC? Was there ever somebody that you really took aside, like, hey?
No, because it's like my friends that should be retiring, or the guys that retired at the right time. A lot of my friends retired at the right time, But some of them that are still fighting, I'm not close to them anymore. So it's like, and they have their circle, they have their team, and you can't really just jump in there and be like, hey, do this, do that, and then their team is going to say, oh, David's a hater. He wants you to stop because he's not fighting.
Because he didn't do that.
He's out of the picture. So
it's
he wants
spiteful.
you. Exactly. Yeah. So I keep my mouth shut. If they ask for advice, I'll tell them. But I keep my mouth shut. I keep it to myself. But I believe that you should take care of yourself first, your health first, and then if the money, you know what I'm saying. If you're feeling good, you do your blood work, you do your scans, and you feel good, and then go ahead and compete. But if you feel slow and you're going through depression and all that stuff, and you're stuttering and it's not going too well, listen, take some time off and analyze things. And you have to see what's, the good and the bad. You have to weigh the cons. You have to check out the pros and cons, and then you make your decision. But it's important to just take your time and take a few steps back.
Right.
And look.
So I think my generation in fighting is turned into, like, people understand that they understand the entertainment value of fighting, right? Is there anything that would bring you back to fighting? Like like maybe a charity fight, or let's say you face somebody like Michael Bisping or another retired fighter, but that everybody would love to see that fight. Is there a name that comes in mind that you would say, you know what, I'll put my shorts back on for, this guy or that guy?
There's a big fight. Jake Paul just signed with the PFL. Yeah. If I could get if I could be Jake Paul's first fight back, or first fight in the UFC, in the PFL, I'd fight him. But it would be so much money. I'd be able to retire after that. Easy, take it easy.
You want to say something to Jake Paul?
Hey, man. I'm not desperate for fights. I'm doing good for myself. I'm not desperate at all. So if the offer would be there, then I'd be like, I think about it, but I don't need to fight. I built a successful business on my own, through hard work, hard work and dedication. 7 days a week, I built my gym from zero. I had 0 clients. I started 1 client, 2 clients, and then I built something. I didn't, what I'm saying? Like I started from nothing, and it was hard. And a lot of my close friends saw me. They're like, David, man, this is. You need any help? We'll loan you some money. No, man, I'm good.
One step at a time.
I'm good. One step at a time. I was very patient with building my gym, my business. I had some surprises. I thought it was gonna catch on quick. I thought people were gonna come in quick because of my name.
Loiseau.
Yeah, because of my name. but my name intimidates people, man. Some people don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Don't want it. Like David Loiseau, they look me up online, then they look the elbows and stuff. They're like, I don't want to train with that motherfucker.
I don't want to send my son there after school.
I want to train with this guy, man. This is crazy. He knocks people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's intimidating.
Yeah.
So I had to separate myself from David, the crazy fighter, to David, the coach, the mentor, the trainer. You know, and that's what I do now. I mentor a lot of people, a lot of kids. I have a big kids program at my gym. I inspire. I train and inspire a lot of people, kids, adults, women. I did a lot of women's self-defense seminars. Man, I'm all about empowering others. That's what I'm about now. You know, it's crazy because when I was fighting, I was studying how to break people down, and now I do the opposite. I study how to build people up.
Elevate people, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's beautiful. That's amazing.
Yeah, man, and I'm proud. I'm super proud of it.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
It's amazing to see a fighter that's been through the highest heights, the lowest lows in fighting.
Yeah.
And then just have a completely separate lifestyle afterwards.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's a 180.
It's very rare.
It's a 180, man. It's you know, I had a conversation a few weeks ago with my sensei, George Santiago. He, you know, I've been studying under him for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the past few years. When I opened my gym, you know, I was going back and forth in Florida because half my family is in Miami, so I do a lot of back and forth. And he had, you know, he retired kind of early as well. We have a very similar story, and we were talking about how much of a blessing it is to build people up and inspire others. You know, it's shout out to Sensei George Santiago. You know, it's so great to give back to the community, give back to others, and you know, so many people. I get emails, I get DMs, you know, from clients, from members, just saying, David, man, when I started at your gym, I had no confidence, I didn't believe in myself, but now, you know, like you know, your mantras that you always tell us, you know, let's go, lock in, stay focused, let's go, don't give up, get back up. Like I drill that stuff in their brains and my students' brain all the time, and now they tell me, David, now I'm confident, I feel good. You know, I walk straight, I look people in the eyes.
Nice.
And that stuff to me, man, priceless. There's no Jake Paul fight that will change that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm about now. I'm not about fighting and beating people down and cutting people. This is another person. This is another person.
You said you study building people up. You went through a big fight with your anxiety throughout your career.
Yeah.
What was like? How did you conquer that?
You know, anxiety is something that it comes, it goes. You just got to learn how to deal with it. You know, I consulted many different psychologists, like sports psychologists, regular psychologists. I did a lot of reading, a lot of.
What did you read?
So many books, man. You know, one book that always comes back to mind when someone talks to me about, you know, self-help and all that stuff is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And there's these 4 agreements. The first one is be impeccable with your word. Second one is don't make any assumptions. Third one is don't take anything personally. Fourth one is always do your best. You guys check that book out and do some research. And it's a great book. And
How did that book help you in your career?
I read that book after, like after my career. You know, during my career, a book that helped. Man, there's a few, but I just remember talking to a few sports psychologists that always came back to the same thing, and it was do not worry about things you cannot control. You know, you can only control 2 things when it comes to fighting: your preparation and your effort when the bell rings. And that's something that helped me a lot. And sometimes I would forget it and panic, and then just go back to this. Right now, it's the fight's about to start. So focus on your effort. Just give your best. You know, just give your best. And that helped me out a lot. You know, focusing on two things: your preparation. Preparation is everything, man. Preparation is one thing about my career is that it was the dark age of MMA. So we didn't know what worked, what didn't work. We were kind of guessing,
making shit up on the fly.
Yeah. We made a lot of stuff up, man. We made a lot of stuff up on the fly. Stuff that stuck, that we stuck with. Some stuff that we didn't stick with. You know, and I lost my train of thought.
It was I was asking about your anxiety and everything.
Yeah.
And then I asked about you were basically saying like during the dark age of MMA, you guys didn't have the tools that you have now.
Yeah, exactly. So the training that we've done, that we went through, I mean, I trained a lot of certain things, but it wasn't the right, like I think I could have done better in my fights if I would train more of this and a little less of that. You know, like there's some, but I always train hard. I always train super hard, but I did not train the right things enough. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Was it like too much sparring?
No, not too much sparring. It was too much. I focused a lot on pleasing the crowd. You know, which is stand up. Right. I did a lot of stand up, and during my career, I neglected a lot my ground game and my wrestling, and I paid the price for it at some point. Like some guys figured me out, especially in the UFC. Some guys figured me out. My last losses in the UFC, like Rich Franklin, Mike Swick, and then it was Ed Herman. It was a few guys. It was all like these guys took me down and helped me there, you know, like, and I couldn't get back to my feet, and you know, I focused too much on the stand-up part of the game, and you know, it was because early in my career, I would read comments, I would research, you know, what the crowd wanted.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, but listen to me, man. The reason why people remember me is because of that. Because I elbowed, I did flying kicks, spinning kicks, you know, spinning back kicks, spinning stuff, right? So that made my name. Till today, I get DMs, man. I can't, man. You David Loiseau, bro. I love your stuff. I love your spinning stuff.
Yeah.
They remember.
Even Silva was telling you that. Even Anderson Silva was telling you.
Anderson Silva showed me some love when I met him. You know, it's like, bro, I loved your style, blah blah blah, and yeah, man. So yeah, I focused a little too much on that striking. That's one thing that I may regret a little bit, but it's part of the process. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I wasn't, because we were in the early age of the sport.
Yeah.
You know,
it just wasn't as developed. You didn't have.
We didn't have the blueprint.
Right.
I started my first professional fight, June 2000, in Montreal. Who do I have to look up to? Who do I have access with? Who do I have access to that I could say, oh, you made it to the top? And the guy that made it to the top back then was Royce Gracie. I didn't know how to reach Royce. Royce, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know what to do.
You can even DM him at
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't know what, but we figured things out on our own. You know, we tried things out, and
you were training with Otis and Howard Grant.
Yeah, I started boxing with Howard in late 2000.
But these guys have been professionals for a very long time.
Boxers.
But I mean, it's professional fighting, right? It's prize fighting.
Yes.
How much of that can you relate to?
They helped me a lot with preparation, weight cutting, boxing, obviously, the fighting mindset. You know, the Otis and Howard Grant took me under their wing very early. You know, because I was doing a lot of training with them we were at Club de Boxe Champion back then. This is where Otis and Howard were, and there was a lot of pro fighters, a lot of pro boxers were there.
Even in boxing, that was the golden era of boxing back then. We had tons of fighters.
A lot of fighters.
It was like Vegas in Montreal.
There was a lot of world class or world champions in Montreal, you know. So yeah, man. So I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from a lot of people. But yeah.
What would they tell you in terms of like you mentioned earlier, they would kind of teach you about the mentality of fighting. What in particular is different about these guys? Because I know Howard and Otis, when it comes to fighting, they're vicious.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of that stuff from them. Yeah, it's you know, that mentality when you step in there, it's kill or be killed.
Game time.
You know, like it's game time. It's focus. But it's all, you know, Miyamoto Musashi said you can only fight the way you train. You know, and we would train hard, fight hard in the gym. The sparring sessions that I had with the boxers that, you know, with the Grant brothers, man, it was...
Grant has a reputation for hard sparring.
There was some hard sparring, man. There was some hard sparring. Yeah, it was tough. And that prepared me for, you know, the tough fights
the
that I've
wars that
had.
you went through.
Yeah.
You also talk about longevity.
Yeah.
But now you're talking about like hard sparring and all that. Where's the middle? Like, where does it meet?
Listen, man, you gotta, especially when you're young. I mean, you could get away with hard sparring, you know, 2-3 times a week. But at some point, you know, it's you gotta make sure that you know what I'm saying, like you gotta speak to your coaches. If you have a headache after sparring, you got to be honest with yourself. You can't be a tough guy, just come right back, or come right back to sparring after a KO loss or something like that.
They'll never be the same.
Yeah, man. Some guys I've seen, a lot of some of my trainers were like, "Oh, David doesn't spar enough." yeah, I'm good now though. I'm good.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm good, and not the Grant brothers. The Grant brothers never talk like that about the sparring. But I've heard some people say that, yeah, David doesn't show up to sparring too much, and if I don't feel good, if I have a headache, you don't see me in the ring.
Good.
You don't see me in the cage.
Yeah.
And
that's probably why you're still intact the way you are.
Listen, man, it's so important. It's underrated because the fight career is short.
And most of them are just taken in the gym anyway.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave everything in the gym. You don't want to leave everything in the gym. You want to save some for the fight, and you want to save some for the next 50, 60 years after fighting, man. You don't want to have, man. You don't want to leave it in the cage, man. You don't. So you hear that all the time. Leave it in the cage. Leave it in the ring. Listen, man. Live to fight another day. You know what I'm saying? Live to fight another day, man.
That's it. You know, I have another question. People ask me not to Another one. People ask me, well, a few people told me not to ask you that, but I'm genuinely curious. If USADA was around when you were fighting, how different would the sport have been, and which guys would be champions?
Listen, man. The sport would not be the same. The sport would not be the same, man. 100%. The names in the Hall of Fame and all that stuff, a lot of stuff would have changed. I can guarantee you that. USADA, when USADA came around, I was semi-retired.
Retiring, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, but I'm glad they're around now, and I'm glad that they're knocking on guys' doors at 6 a.m. to go pee and all that stuff. Yeah, man, hell yeah. I think it's great. USADA's one of the best things that happened to the sport of mixed martial arts. The best thing, because if you take steroids and these supplements for bowling, for baseball,
by all means,
do it, man. This is great. You're hitting a ball.
Yeah.
But if you're inflicting brain damage to someone else, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair.
No.
I think it's criminal.
Absolutely.
I think it's criminal to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're fighting, but some guys don't care. They're like, I'll do whatever it takes. They're not testing, so whatever it takes. Some guys feel that way. I don't feel that way. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Do you think these guys feel that way because they almost feel entitled to the win because their entire life revolves around it?
I think people like that because they want to win at all costs. There's money. There's money involved. You know, there's life-changing money right now. You know, remember that spinning back kick I did to Charles McCarthy? Bang! Spinning back kick. Everybody went crazy. My bonus was $500. Today it would be $75,000 or $80,000 for that spinning back kick.
Yeah.
Back then I did it for $500. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. The sport changed. There's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
So everybody's trying to win. Everybody's trying to, find their way to get to that spotlight.
Man, that was in the UFC, and your bonus was $500.
Yeah, 500.
That's insane.
Yeah, but it was it was 2005. That was
but still,
2005,
I mean,
man.
you
That was before the big boom, the big big pay-per-view days, the big paydays. It was the old ages, 2005. UFC, and that's the thing. UFC was not making that much money back then. I can't be mad at them. They're not making that much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I genuinely appreciate your trajectory to throughout the sport, because you've done so much for so many fighters from not just in Montreal. You're a pioneer of the sport, and I
Thank you.
Generally respect that.
Thank you, man. It means a lot.
All right, we're gonna play a game. I'm gonna name fighters. You're gonna describe.
Hey, I don't play games. I don't play games, man.
All right, the Crow don't play. One word or one sentence.
Okay.
You ready to go?
Let's go.
All right. Aiemann Zahabi.
Future champ.
Firas Zahabi.
Genius.
Patrick Cote.
The Predator.
Saint Pierre.
GOAT.
Rory McDonald.
Champ.
Dana White.
Boss.
My man. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time, brother.
Hey,
it was
thank
an honor
you.
to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man.
Guys, if this was a good investment of your time, consider subscribing. Follow my man David Loiseau on Instagram, or I'll knock you out. And check out my Patreon. Bam.